Hello, future doctors! Let's talk about if the IMAT is going to be cancelled. I have been receiving dozens and dozens of DMs and messages and comments on both the channel and the website, and people coming into the Discord server asking about, is the IMAT going to be cancelled? It seems that certain websites who only care about putting out AI generated slop to get clicks to sell their subpar mid-courses without ever wanting to actually contribute something meaningful to the medicine in Italy space have been spreading these articles. I would also say misinformed articles, but that's actually not that surprising considering it was all generated by AI. They don't even understand what the proposal, what the news is, to anyway get clicks. So there are a lot of rumors, misunderstandings, and just terrible information out there. So today I want to go through every single detail to do with this proposal and explain to you if you need to panic or not about the IMAT being cancelled. Now, this video is based on an article that I wrote a few weeks ago. It is extremely detailed, it is well researched, it has all of the sources from the Senate, all of the proposals translated, news articles, everything, okay? This video is based on that article. So if you want to see like an even more detailed version of what I'm going to be talking about, I advise you to go and read that article. But today I'm going to go through how all of this started, okay, what the key points in the proposal are, if this proposal was to go through, what it would actually look like, what is a realistic timeline for this proposal, why it doesn't actually make sense for the international course or for medicine in English or the IMAT, and then kind of my personal opinions and commentary, whether that might be spicy or controversial. Now, very quickly before I dive into this video, I have gotten so sick of students who are barely getting into medical school just using ChatGPT to generate articles to just sell a mediocre course at a crazy price point, okay? Or these websites who they have nothing to do with medicine in Italy, but now want to recycle BMAT material, or even just courses that have been around for years with outdated stuff. Again, ChatGPT, like just AI generated nonsense with their websites having misinformation, overpriced courses on, I don't know, like stolen web pages. Okay, I am sick of this. I have gotten sick of this. This article that we saw was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I have great news for you. We are finally doing an Academat IMAT course, okay, for 7 years. For 7 years, I didn't want to do this. I have done I don't even run ads on the website. Like, that's how little it meant to me. I just really wanted to contribute in a meaningful way to this space and give students what I didn't have. So now it's done. We're planning it. We are planning a course, okay? We're gonna have an online one. We don't know when that's going to be released, but we are also doing an in-person intensive 5-day boot camp. It can only be in person. We're not doing this live. We don't want as many people as possible to join, okay? Because the purpose of this isn't to make money, it's to actually create like an incredible atmosphere so that you can make friends with people there. We're going to talk about like all of the analyses, the trends and the statistics and only the high yield topics, and go over what are the most difficult subjects that students still don't understand. Okay, we're also going to have non-IMAT related seminars. I don't want to go on too much about this in this video, but if you're interested in joining one of these in-person 5-day boot camps, I'll leave the link in the description. Otherwise, we're also going to be doing an online course. I don't know when that's coming because obviously I want to make sure that it's the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. So it's going to take some time to make sure that all of the quality and all of the teaching is at a very high level, but I'm sure I'm going to update you guys. So with that being said, let's dive in and actually understand, do we need to panic about the IMAT being cancelled? Before I even say any of that, none of the documentation, okay, none of the drafts, none of the proposals, none of the news articles, none of the interviews with the senators, in none of them does it mention that it's also going to apply to the IMAT or the English course or the medicine course in English, whatever, the international schools, okay? Nowhere does it mention anything about the IMAT or the medicine and English course, okay? So first of all, let's already get this into our head before we even dissect the proposal, but I'm going to present it all to you as if it does apply to the IMAT so that you can also understand if this change happens, what can you expect, okay? But like before you even start panicking, realize that nowhere does it mention it's going to apply to the English course. It might, but I think it's very unlikely. On top of that, this is still a proposal that is being drafted. I'm going to explain a little bit later on how the Italian constitution and the Senate and the law changes, etc. work, so you can understand where in the progress of this law changing we are, okay? Because again, This hasn't even been voted on yet. It's not even confirmed 100%, unless I'm really misunderstanding something, okay? Because I've been keeping track of it on the Senate webpage, and it's still saying that it's in the process of being worked, okay? It hasn't even been voted to be accepted and da-da-da-da-da. So let's also realize that this is where we are at, okay? Nothing has been approved yet. It looks likely it's gaining a lot of traction. Like even the Ministry of Education is like preparing in case it passes, but it hasn't passed yet. It's not official yet. It hasn't been approved yet, okay? It doesn't mention English course anywhere. Might happen to the English course, of course. Like, I'm not saying that. It might happen, but it hasn't mentioned anything yet, okay? So let's just keep these two things in mind. In October 2023, there was a proposal to change the closed seats system in medicine. Well, also in other courses like dentistry and veterinary as well. A closed seat system in this context means that there are only a certain number of posts that people can get into, okay? So think about when the Ministry of Education releases every university seats and it's like, I don't know, 50 for this university and 70 for this university, okay? That's the closed seat system. So there was a proposal that said, hey, yo, let's get rid of this closed seat system. Then, up until January, there were other proposals to change supporting laws, okay? So other laws that would help implement this 915 closed seat system, okay, to make it kind of more similar to the French system, kind of a little bit. Now, I promise it's going to get clearer, it's going to get a lot clearer. But essentially, what this turned into is not just getting rid of an admission exam, but what I would call like a radical reform of healthcare system education in Italy. Because of course, they're considering removing the exam, but this actually affects every healthcare related course in Italy. So I'm talking about biotechnology, motor sciences, nursing, pharmacology. So this is essentially an educational reform across all of these degrees, okay? It's not just something that's like, oh, let's stop doing the admission exam. With that being said, what are the key points? Okay, so this is a direct translation of the key points in the proposal, and then I'm going to explain how this would look like if it was implemented. So, first one, registration for the first semester of medicine, dentistry, and veterinary will be open access. So that means anyone can sign up for the first semester. There's no limit on the number of students. However, there should be a criteria of sustainability that is applied. So that means that there should be some criteria to see what the actual maximum capacity a university can handle, right? Because just because you remove the access doesn't mean that suddenly, I don't know, like University of Milan can take 5,000 people into the first semester of medicine, okay? So first one, it's going to be open access, but there's going to be sustainability criteria to see what the actual max amount of support that can be given. Third, there will be identified key common subjects that must be taught in the first semester of all courses in the biomedical, health, pharmaceutical, and veterinary fields. So these courses will have a consistent and coordinated subject, and their study plans will be aligned. A standardized total number of university credits will be set at a national level. So all of the courses that are in these fields, okay, biotechnology, veterinary, pharmaceutical, blah, 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 all of these courses are going to have a set syllabus with the exact same number of credits in every single university across Italy, okay? This is what I was talking about, that it's a reform across the entire country. Admission to the second semester of medicine will require students to acquire all of their CFUs from first semester. So that means passing all of the exams of the first semester and getting enough credits, and then ranking highly on the national merit list. Ranking. I just said ranking. National merit list. But already we know that they're already planning on still doing an exam. There's still going to be a closed number system, just not in the first semester. Okay, and this is why the rest of the proposal is kind of important. Students who do not pass the exam, or let's say did not finish all of the exams of the first semester to be able to go to the national exam, can then continue the second semester from any of the other courses that they've chosen. So remember how I said that they're going to align all of the first semester of all of the healthcare subjects? That means that if you don't go into medicine, instead of 1 year waiting for the exam, you can just continue into the second semester of another course, okay? And the way they want to kind of make this realistic is that you dual enroll into 2 courses. So for me, that would be, I don't know, like say I wasn't sure between pharmacology and medicine. I enroll into medicine and I dual enroll into pharmacology. I don't pass into medicine, and then I just continue with pharmacology as if I was in medicine. Okay, this is what they're saying. You dual enroll first semester, everyone does the exact same stuff, then you do the exam. If you don't pass, you can continue into the second semester of another degree. Next, they're going to have the opportunity to participate in theoretical practical training under the supervision of tutors, and the tutors are this and blah, 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 and they should have internship pathways in high school that won't give them advantages, but get them interested, okay? There were also a lot of other interesting points in this proposal. So again, I really recommend you go and read the English translated version, because there was also a lot of parts that applied to the healthcare system and also talking about the shortage of doctors, okay? Because their whole logic is that they want to make sure that the healthcare system is well funded and it has enough resources and enough doctors to complete training and, you know, have the system running. So they think that pumping out more doctors, even though there's still okay, whatever, you know what, I'm not going to go into the criticisms of this. I'm just here to present the facts to you and what it says, okay? So anyway, you should read the full thing if you want to get all the stuff I also left out, because I'm trying to make this like as relevant as possible. Okay, so these are the key points. So what would this look like? Okay, let's construct a timeline of how this would look if this proposal started. By June 30th, students would contact the institution that they want to enroll in and enroll into their medicine program. Okay, so I'm gonna go through this example as if I'm a high school student and I want to go into medicine, okay? I want to study medicine in Sapienza. So by June 30th, I need to go to Sapienza and be like, hey, I want to sign up for medicine and my other course is pharmacology or biotechnology or whatever I want to pick as my backup. I will then have classes from September 1st till about December 15th. So universities can decide to do online classes as long as I still have anatomy practicals in groups, okay? So I can do all of these online subjects, but then I have to do my anatomy practicals in person. Okay, my first semester of classes is going to include medical physics, elements of cellular and genetic biology, and principles of human anatomy. In December, as an enrolled student, I need to do an exam on all of these subjects, okay? I'm gonna have multiple exams on all of these subjects. My biology course is going to be worth 8 CFU. My medical physics course is going to be worth 7 CFU, and my human anatomy exam is going to be worth 15 CFU. So if I have passed all of these exams, okay, and I got all my credits, what I can then do is I can sign up for the national admission exam, which is going to be in January. Now, if I don't pass all of my first semester subjects, that's tough, I can't do it. But I pass all of my subjects and boom, in January, I can now do the national medical exam. And this exam is going to be nationally administered across the entire country in every single university at the same time with the same number of questions and the same question type. Does it sound familiar? It sounds familiar. When the results of this exam come out, okay, it's going to be a ranking from the highest scoring to the lowest scoring. When this exam comes out, if I score high enough, I can continue into the second semester of medicine and surgery. If unfortunately I'm not high enough in the ranking, then I continue with whatever my backup subject was. So this is what it's saying. It's not saying let's not have an admission exam. It's saying let's have an admission exam after the first semester of university, so that if you don't get in, you have a backup you can continue with. Now, obviously there's like a lot of pros and cons to this. I don't really want to go into it. I'm just presenting you the facts. And you might be asking, okay, so there's still going to be an admission exam. What will the admission exam look like? And the official Senate proposals and the people who are drawing up these have still not come up with what it might look like. All we know is that it will probably have questions from the subjects that are taught in first year. Now, there is a association, CRUI, which is essentially like a group of rectors, like presidents of different universities who came together, and they made what I would almost call like a counter proposal, or what they think would work better in an aligned way with what the Senate wants to propose. So these shitty ass ChatGPT fucking regurgitated crap websites seem to have reported how the exam is going to look, but this is incorrect, again, because they don't fact check, they don't care about transparency, they don't actually care about giving you good quality information. I can't even imagine how shit their shitty IMAT courses are if they can't even bother to get the facts. Sorry. I need to breathe and calm down. Okay, so CRUI, the Association of Rectors, have done kind of almost like a counter proposal of what might work better. And in their system, which I'm not going to go into, you can read it on the website in the article, is that they would suggest having 25% of questions in biology, 25 questions in chemistry, 25 questions in physics, and then 25% in psycho-aptitudinal questions, aka logical reasoning. Okay, and they are proposing it to still be like 120 to 150 minutes, the exact same marking scheme. Now, they're not just advising on how the exam should be, they actually want to implement it in a completely different way, so that you would still essentially know before the start of the semester if you got in or not. But anyway, again, these are all linked, all sourced, all translated for you in that article. So now let's go into how a law change works in Italy, because it's actually really, really interesting. So what you have is, there is a proposal, a change that comes in, okay, and it's sent to the first chamber, okay, because you know, Italy has a bicameral system, so if you've been doing your past questions, you'd know that was a general knowledge question. Okay, it comes into the first chamber. They start writing and typing and doing all of these changes. It is then sent to a commission, okay. In Italy, there's like different commissions, and these are experts on different things. Like it might be education, it might be the budget, it might be the commission on, I don't know, like cultural heritage, stuff like that, okay? So it's sent to a commission, and those commission propose changes and sends it back to the chamber, and then the chamber suggests further changes and then sends it back to the commission, and then the commission sends it back. And then once the commission is like, okay, we're happy enough with this final version, it gets sent back to the chamber. And then it gets sent to another commission, okay? And it goes through the cyclical process again until that chamber no longer rejects anything. So they don't they don't have anything else they want to modify, okay? So it goes through all the commissions, and when finally everything, they're like, okay, we're happy on this final version, it gets sent to the other chamber. Okay, and this other chamber does the exact same thing. They can veto certain parts, they can suggest changes, they can modify things, and etc., etc., etc. Okay, and it goes through this whole process again. So then, when it gets approved by absolutely everyone, when everyone's like really happy on the final version of this draft, okay, it then gets sent to the Senate to vote on. Okay, and then if it passes a majority vote in the Senate with the hundreds of members, it then goes to the president, and then the president has to agree on it. And then if the president signs it, it goes to a gazette, and then it gets applied, and da-da-da-da. Okay, so it's like a very complicated, very long-winded process, and sometimes things move fast, but sometimes they don't. So if you're like, okay, well, this thing is gaining a lot of traction, the minister is doing this, and the rectors are meeting, so like it must be like almost done, right? No, y'all, we're still waiting for the 7th commission to approve all the changes. So they haven't even voted on it yet. Hi, sorry, this is editing, Sarah. So I originally recorded this video over a month ago, like literally over a month ago, and it's taken me 1 month to edit. So there has been a small update. Originally when I recorded this in mid-November, it was still going through the little cycles of the commission. We were still waiting on the 7th commission to approve it. And just to give you an update to where we are now, it has been approved by the first chamber. It has passed by the first chamber. I will leave, of course, all of the sources in the article with the updates. Again, I'm so sorry this took so long, but yeah, okay, bye, love you. Okay, there hasn't even been a finalized final version that everyone agrees on yet to even be presented at the Senate, okay? And I don't know, like, I think I did a lot of research into this article, and I feel like I must be missing something fundamental because everyone is talking about it as if it's already passed. But when I read, you know, the law change logs, and I look at all the meetings and where it's been in the commission, like right now it's with the 7th commission, it hasn't even been presented to the Senate yet to be voted on. So like, that's how early we are. And again, there's nothing about the English course in it. So I think it is still way too early to panic. Like, realistically speaking, will this happen by 2025? Considering they have to rehaul the entire education system of all of these courses to agree on a centralized syllabus and you know, like on centralizing everything and aligning it and having the same credits and all the professors teaching all of those same things and, you know, applying this across all healthcare courses, right? So imagine how long that would actually take for the entire country, every single university, every single course to do those changes. Then consider how they're going to decide on the sustainability criteria and how they plan on supporting, I don't know, like the 5,000 extra students in one university, how they're going to do all that. And then you consider that they have to do the national exam and plan for that and the ranking and then how it's going to work and the dual enrollment. And then you also consider that it hasn't even been voted on yet. And it's been proposed over a year ago and they still haven't gotten to the final version of the proposal. So how likely is it that it's going to be implemented in 5 months? I mean, to be honest, it's possible. I'm sure, like, if they were very dead set on it happening, it could happen. But realistically, I just really can't imagine it coming so fast into effect. Like, even if it got approved, because it really does seem like it's on traction to get approved, okay? I'm not saying it's very unlikely. From reading and studying it a lot, I think it's very likely that it is going to eventually pass. But how soon it can pass, I think is another question, right? Because it seems like a lot of work. Like, I think it's very unlikely to be for 2025. So maybe 2025 will be the last year of the IMAT exam. So if you want to make sure you want to prepare for it, go. Come to our boot camp. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be 5 days of fun. But that aside, I just think it's very unlikely how fast it can be brought into effect. And again, it doesn't mention anywhere for the English course. And why, like, to me, it doesn't make sense that you would do this for the IMAT, right? And I'm going to play devil's advocate here, okay? So I don't want you guys to think that this is a reflection of my political beliefs or like my values or my stance on immigration, okay? But what I'm thinking is, if I was the Italian government, you know, and I don't love all of these immigrants coming into my country and, using up my resources. Again, I'm being very clear, these aren't reflections of my thought, but if I was the Italian government and suddenly I made the IMAT open access, not the IMAT, sorry, if I made the medicine and English course open access. Last year, there were 15,000 people who did the IMAT, okay? I'm just thinking, can you imagine the Italian government being like, 15,000 visas? Yeah. For one semester? Yeah. Everyone, just come in. Just come in for your one semester. Sure. You think that's going to fly with the Italian government? And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Sarah, there's so many EU that do it and probably half of them are EU. Okay, shut up. I get it. I know. We're using hyperbole. We're imagining imaginary scenarios. I know a lot of them are EU. But it doesn't matter because in the eyes of Italy, all foreigners are bad foreigners. Okay, so yeah, I know a lot of these people are going to be EU, but I still don't think, again, Italy is going to be very happy with suddenly opening its doors to 15,000 foreigners. And again, I know it's going to be unlikely that everyone can come and the expenses and but like, it just doesn't make sense for the Italian government to do this for the English course, okay? And even if they did do this for the English course, which I think is unlikely, okay, but I don't want to speak big. I don't want to assume anything. Like, anything is possible. And the Italian government has made a lot of questionable choices, okay? There's still going to be an exam. There's still going to be some sort of an exam, okay? The other reason why I really don't think this would work for the English course is that this Italian proposal, I guess it's kind of okay for Italian students because if you don't get in, instead of wasting time, you can continue the semester and continue earning credits and just try again in the next year's national exam. So, in that way, it's kind of great that you have like a backup option and you can continue. The thing is, the reason why that would work is because there are so many courses in Italian, okay? Almost every university that has a medicine course, 100% has either a nursing or a biotechnology or a motor sciences or a pharmacology or, whatever, health sciences, Like, almost all of them are going to have Italian courses so they can take the excess of students not getting into medicine. But there are only a handful of English courses in Italy, okay? I think there's only like maybe 3 biotechnology. I think there's only 2 nursing in English. There's 3 pharmacology in English. There's no veterinary in English. So like, to me, again, it doesn't make sense. Not only because I don't think they're going to want to issue that many visas for people to come into Italy, not even for a 6-year course. Okay, that's the first thing. Second, they don't have the infrastructure to support the excess and runoff of students to go into other semesters. Okay. Okay, I've been ranting a lot. I'm not stressed. It's okay. It's chill. But anyway, so I think this doesn't make sense for doing it for the English course. I'm not saying they won't do it for the English course, okay? Because anything is possible. Let's be honest. Anything is possible. They might be like, no, sorry, we're going to do it for the English course. And if you don't get in, that's it. You have to go home after first semester. It's possible. it doesn't make a lot of sense. They've mentioned nowhere that it's going to apply to the English course. We are yet to see that. And yeah, again, it hasn't even been approved yet. It hasn't even been voted in, and it still has to go through all of these approval processes and then go to the Senate to be voted on, and then go to the president to vote on them. So yeah, it's still like very much in the making. And we've emailed a few of the senators who are working on this bill. We made sure not to email any of the, let's say, anti-immigration political party senators, you know, ones that have better immigration policies. We've emailed some of these senators asking them how this proposal is going to affect international students. You know, the second we hear back, we're definitely going to let you know. We're kind of asking them if they know what's going to happen, and if they don't know, could they please consider it while they're proposing the changes to exclude the international course. Okay, we have gone and we've done this. We've emailed a lot of senators. I've also emailed a few of the people on the CRUI, the rector thing, and even they don't even know. Like, one of them replied back saying like, yeah, it's like politically confusing. There's like a lot of things we don't know, sorry. So like, they don't even know what's going on. I don't think anyone knows what's going on. But anyway, wow, what a rant. Okay. I was going to give my own personal commentary, spicy commentary, because I actually think it's not a terrible proposal for the Italian course. Controversial. I hope now you understand everything, exactly where we are at, and why I don't think you need to panic, at least not for 2025. I would be very surprised. I'm not saying it's impossible, okay? I don't want to eat my words. I'm not making like a hard stance. This is never going to happen, okay? It might happen. I still think, though, it's too early to worry about 2025. Now, if you were asking for 2026, maybe a bit more up in the air. Okay, hopefully we hear back from one of the senators we've emailed before then, or hopefully they make the changes, or hopefully we have some more solid news. But I think just knowing, like, now that you know everything, and you see it's not even that bad of a proposal, but you see why it's like such a huge thing to implement, and you consider the timeline, I just think it's very difficult for it to apply to the 2025 IMAT. Like, I think it's very unrealistic, but I don't know. Italian government could prove me wrong. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now. I've been recording for 31 minutes. Wow, okay, that's shorter than I thought. And yeah, if you're interested in the IMAT course, go check the description, and I will see you guys in another video.